Super.
BS.
Howdy ho, neighbors. It's Brank coming back from the dead, ready to break some bread. I'm here and I'm joined by dude on my right.
On the screen, it looks like you pointed to the dude on your left. It's everything's mirror image.
Left of the screen, we're live today, okay? We're streaming right at you and screaming right at you. Who's
mirror.
this?
This is Dr. Donna.
Dr. Donna, PhD.
Moving my
clearly left-handed.
moving my left hand
Dr.
to the
Donna.
left here.
No, we're in Mirror World. And who's on my lefties, aka my righties in the videos?
Jank Jankerson, Josh Peterson,
Esquire,
entrepreneur.
Let me just interrupt you right there.
Yeah, please.
Get it right out of the
Start.
way in the beginning here and just comment that we are in Mirror World because we have completed the 50, 100, and 150 cc of podcast episodes. And so now we've unlocked the Mario Kart style reverse.
What about 200cc? We gonna get those?
That's a new one.
How many moons did we have to collect to get here?
It's a different franchise.
Well, it's a similar franchise.
I guess.
How many power rings did we have to collect to get here?
0.
How many
Mirror-
times
You
did we
did
have to
tracks.
fight Dr. Robotnik to get to this level?
About to punch this idiot on my, I guess it would be my right. Anyways, before we get into what we've been playing, what you guys, anything cool that you guys saw, did, whatever, trash, let me know.
Say that again?
Anything that you did that was non-gaming related this week that was rad. I saw the not very great Futile Gestures and Futile and Stupid Gesture. It's the movie about Doug Kenny.
Oh, I wanted to
National
watch
Lampoon.
that.
I was really excited because David Wayne directed it, and it's filled with hilarious people. I didn't think it was that funny, but
I don't know. I mean, it's probably only supposed to be so funny because it's a story of National Lampoon. So it's not like a zany National Lampoon movie. I'm assuming it's about them. So
yeah.
At some point, it's a biopic.
I know. I just love David Wayne stuff, so I thought I was gonna be like laughing every second. Did you guys see?
Oh
anything
yeah,
cool?
I didn't think it would be anything like a David Wayne movie, like
Oh, I was hoping
Is
it was
like
it
Wet
an
Hot
aff-
American Summer or something.
Is it an official National Lampoon movie, or is it just a movie someone made about
It's
National
a
Lampoon?
movie someone made about National Lampoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you guys see anything? I know we were talking about movies. I feel like. Oh, I also saw. I saw Den of Thieves, which was really fun.
Oh yeah.
The Gerard Butler movie.
The
It is
Uncharted movie.
the Uncharted movie, Den of Thieves.
Okay.
But I feel like you saw something stupid, Jank, that you want to tell me about.
Speaking of Gerard Butler, I watched Geostorm, which is basically
he in it?
Yeah, he's one of the main characters.
He's the storm.
He is the storm.
Storm.
He is the Gerard Storm.
CGI Storm.
But yeah, it was pretty bad. It's like the world's longest smart car commercial, and it was
Nice.
basically like, left-sided politics making fun of, or not making fun of, but like making right-side politic people look like bad people. And I mean, they do a pretty good job of that on their own. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just a really long political movie, and everything was so convenient, and it just did not have a good story, and I would not recommend it. I didn't even want to finish it, but I did. So,
Sounds like Day After Tomorrow.
that happened. No, well, funny, it's
Day After
directed
Tomorrow's.
by the same guy that made Day After Tomorrow.
Oh, it's Disaster Pick, dude.
Yeah, it's a Roland Emmerich film.
Yeah, you remember that guy?
Classic Roland.
Yes.
Independence Day. Independence Day. Every movie where the world's been destroyed. 2012. Independence Day. He did the Comet movie, right? Not the one that
He did 10,000 BC.
he did 10,000 BC. But I also want to say he did. Remember when there was the Michael Bay film where they go to the moon and destroy an asteroid?
Pearl Harbor.
Armageddon?
Armageddon. There was another movie that came out the same time called like Deep Rising
Deep
or
Impact.
Deep Impact. And I think he
Oh.
did that where it also destroys the world.
I like Deep Rising instead.
That is, I believe that's a different movie though. I think there is a movie called that. Anyways, we know nothing about film, so we'll stop gabbering on about that because we did that all last week. Donna, since you missed last week, I want to know, what have you been playing?
Not too much. Is this I'm holding my microphone upside down. Is that a problem?
Yeah, I mean, normally
Should
if
I
you
do
You
it
guys
too?
gonna
or
hear
does that
everything in
make,
reverse?
Well, we're in the
Yeah.
mirror universe, so it's probably right side up.
Okay.
or
So
upside right.
You're
Bizarro.
good. I think
Yeah.
You're good.
So we got to say opposites for everything. So I have not been playing Breath of the Wild on my second crack at it.
Nice. Did
Definitely
you restart?
I did. I restarted from the very beginning.
Probably better.
Yeah, it was a lot better. Yeah, it's great. Obviously, there's a reason that it was Game of the Year for so many people. I think that it is. I think I said I missaid what I meant when I said that Mario was a more important game. I think this is a more important game, but I think Mario is a better game as far as like everything being. Like there's
very little fluff.
There's very little fluff. Well, there's not fluff in Breath of the Wild, but there's some quality of life issues that they definitely could make if they do another Zelda in this way. Things we've talked about, recipe books,
Yeah.
the need to grind certain things when the game is already so big that just doing the basic shrine, like discovering shrines, discovering the world takes so long, and it's great. There's never a dull moment doing that, but I shouldn't, because of how long that takes and how fun that takes, or how much fun that is, I shouldn't have to like, okay, I'm going to grind rupees now, or I'm going to grind materials now. Like there should be plenty, either everything should be cheaper, or there should be enough that just in exploring the world for all of the like seeds and shrines that I should never have to worry about that kind of, it's just, it doesn't add to the experience. It just adds more time to the experience. And it's such a huge game that's designed so well, and it's so pretty and fun, and it just feels good, and there's so much cool moments with the physics and just the discovery, that just having something where it's like, I need to spend time now just doing this monotonous thing, that should just be different.
But I think if you do kind of just wait for it, like I only grinded a little bit of rupees at the very end of the game. It's just you have to have a lot of patience. It's not like they're not going to overly give you a lot of stuff. But I do agree with what you're saying. It would be a lot nicer if they had more of that. But I also don't feel like it was so bad that they didn't have it.
It's not so bad. It's just bad enough to be frustrating sometimes. But it's not so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad if you're someone that, I think that just the ratio that it's, at least for my playthrough, the ratio that I'm exploring the world compared to the ratio that I'm able to have better things is a little unbalanced for me. So like I've done half the shrines, and I still haven't even gone to like 4 of the map areas. So I've done like I've definitely like picked apart the areas that I've been to, and I'm still not really able to do a whole lot as far as upgrading my equipment, as far as like things like that, having certain resources. And I feel like that just because I've spent so much time in and out of these shrines, these dungeons, these things, doing all these puzzles and fighting all this stuff, that there should be either a little bit more of not of a reward, but there should be more plentiful amount of substances, drugs. No.
Yeah, of all the substances.
Of all the substances, or things should just be generally a little bit cheaper. It's not a huge deal. It doesn't really detract from the experience. Like as soon as I just go out and do something new, I obviously am not thinking about that at all. Like I wish this was easier to get or something like that. But it's just the one thing I've noticed. That and the recipe book that's missing would be very nice.
I mean, we could, fairly to the game, we could have a complaint podcast about it just because of like rain and other stuff. But I think the good outweigh. It's kind of like Mario Odyssey, like I could go on endlessly about that stupid jump rope mini game.
Yeah, but that is so small. Like
but the game's smaller though too.
Yeah, but there's maybe like 2 things like that in Mario Odyssey that don't, it's not like it carries over like, because I can't do this jump rope, I can't do all these other things.
I get you.
But with Zelda, it's like, because it's so hard to find money, or because it's so hard to find star metal, I can't, or it's so hard to like shoot dragons to get scales. Like it's hard to like, I can't upgrade this armor then, or I can't do this. Like, so those are the things that I think we were just talking in the car. I think the material scarcity is probably the largest complaint I would have, but it's not actually the thing that frustrates me. It's just kind of like, I guess I just won't do this, or we'll see what happens. But my 2 complaints that frustrate me the most are cooking, because you have to individually put together your ingredients every single time after you've done it. So you can't just have a recipe book that lets you just cook. And then the biggest complaint I have is the not the mechanic of weapon durability. I think that's great, but the fact that you can lose all of your ammo and break all of your bows just doing freaking mini games. Like I feel like there should be like the NPCs should be like, oh, since you're paying me 20 rupees just to do this game, you should like I'll give you
arrows.
I'll give you arrows and you can use my bow that's unbreakable or something like that. Because that way it's like, you don't waste, because if you use a crappy bow that you don't care about breaking, it probably has bad trajectory or something. If you use a good bow, it's like you're wasting it on a stupid mini game that already costs you money, plus you're wasting all your arrows. I just feel like that's kind of like that doesn't add to the challenge of the game where it's like, oh, I got to really be careful about this mini game. It just is sort of like, no, now I just have to like spend extra money that I barely have, or hope that I find arrows somewhere. Like it's just kind of like an inconvenience that's frustrating. But otherwise I love it. So it's obviously like an amazing game, just so fun and iconic.
Before we move on to what you've been playing next, I was curious, Josh, you played the game and beat it, right?
Oh yeah.
How much time did you spend with these systems? Like, did you upgrade your armor? Did you go find all the Great Fairy Fountains? How many shrines? Like, I'm sure we talked about this last year, but I'm just curious because you generally play through games pretty quick.
I did the fairy fountains, and I got about halfway through the Korok seeds, and I lost.
You got 500 Korok seeds.
There's that. Okay, no, see, I didn't get halfway.
Okay.
I got maybe 45 of them, and
I got like 120.
There's 999.
Jeez, okay, I got over it. Like it was so redundant to me.
Well, I like finding them.
I think Korok seeds are great because I don't really think they're redundant because they're never a thing that you have to be like, I'm going to go hunt Korok seeds only.
Right.
That's the thing, is that the game is so great. You just find things by exploring. In that sense, it's very much like Mario Odyssey, where it's like, I'm going for this star. Oh, I found all these purple coins. Also, I found this this moon.
I wish I could play games like that. Like I have, when I start looking for something, I get really obsessive and I want to go find all of them.
OCD behavior.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's why I can't play.
But I mean, you didn't enjoy like seeing like a circle of rocks and then seeing one rock over there and a rock missing, and then you're like, oh, I'll put this there, and then
sure.
Boom.
That was fun. And you know, when I came across them, like
that's all I did. Was
what I like about Zelda is that like everything has a purpose. Like if you see something that's out of the ordinary, chances are it does something.
Yeah, I think that's something Breath of the Wild does.
That was pretty much like their like huge middle finger to every other open world game created by EA or Ubisoft or any big company or Sony or something crap like that, because it's like, oh, we didn't need to give you a mini map filled with tiny things so you know to look at this otherwise indistinguishable rock. It's like, we just made this good. So it's like everything.
They did a really good job.
Yeah, there's no need to like, okay, like here's your like symbol on the map for where all the Korok seeds are. The symbols don't appear there until you get them. Yeah. So they have to rely instead on good environment design, where it's like it would catch your eye, like, oh, there's something weird about being all the way up on this hill and having there being 3 trees in a straight line.
Yeah. There's so many cool like just environmental puzzles. Anyway, we could talk about this game for a few hours. What else have you been playing, Donna?
That is actually mostly it. I've still played a little bit of Comrades, Final Fantasy 15.
How do you feel about it now? Last time we talked to you about it, I want to say it was like the first or second time you played it. Like,
I feel pretty good about it. I reached a day or two after we last talked about it, I had reached a like barrier of frustration, and then a day or so after that I had surpassed it. So one of the interesting mechanics in Comrades is how you upgrade weapons. So there's a couple different types of weapons. It's not quite the same. Like there's no short swords. There's just katanas, polearms, daggers, crossbows, shields and shurikens. Oh, and then maces. So there is a handful of different weapons, but it's not like you can't use like the swords that Noctis would use or anything like that.
You're not using the weapon wheel type thing. Where
you do use a weapon wheel, but it's different. And changing weapons in combat is necessary. There's definitely, I've played some missions where I need multiple weapons for different things. The way you upgrade weapons is you basically farm items from monsters that you kill during missions. So it's simple enough. The game is actually fairly generous.
This is the Monster Hunter expansion for Final Fantasy.
Sure is. Well, I mean, because you're trying to like power up all these cities to protect them from demons, because demons can't be in the light in Eos, whatever Final Fantasy 15's world is called.
Yeah. I think it's right, Eos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what you're going to do missions. You're doing missions. Missions reward you with power, like kilowatts of power, like through meteor shards that are out there. And then you light up different sections of the city, different power lines. You like create this network and stuff. And there's other outposts you can go to besides the Stalin. And the way you upgrade these weapons is you craft more, like you craft these items into a weapon. But there's two things with that. Any item will upgrade a weapon, but different items also upgrade stats as well along the weapons. So you can use any item to increase the experience level and base attack of, say, a katana, but a specific katana, might have like these basically have these indicators that if you level up the strength stat or the vitality stat or the might stat enough, that you want to fill out these bars, and then it will evolve the weapon. So you can level up a weapon to the max level and then have it be useless from then on out, because you can't evolve it. So to do that, you want to use specific items, and it gets a little bit. You have to plan ahead, because there's usually 2 to 3 evolutions of a weapon. So if you get the first stats and you evolve your weapon once, but then you realize, oh, I've got to level up this other stat from scratch to get it before you run out of levels again. So it's just it's a little complicated.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
The game is pretty generous with getting items that are useful. Like, they don't punish you too much, where like if you level up a weapon and blow it, it's not too hard to get the basic items to do the first evolution again. And then there's usually, like, if there's a weapon that requires very specific stat leveling, like, oh, you have from level, like if you level a katana to 30, and then the next katana you can level to 50 from 30, not from 1 again, mind you, from 30, and you have to level 2 different stats. Usually there's items that you can find off monsters that level both of those stats at the same time. So you just have to know which monsters to hunt and stuff like that. Either way, I reached a point where I was, it's hard to kind of find online matches, and the AI can be good, but I was really running into problems having to repeat the same missions over and over again, because I was too weak to do harder missions. And then I was able to finally make some. I just didn't even have to grind that much. I just decided I was going to and be okay with it, and spent maybe a couple hours repeating some missions. Had enough items to upgrade my weapons a lot more, as well as had enough power to unlock a bunch more missions, because you unlock missions by filling out power lines and stuff like that. So it's pretty fun. And then other than that, I really haven't been playing much. I've been logging into Elder Scrolls Online to do dailies and stuff like that. But otherwise, that's pretty much it for me.
All right, well, we got a ton of news, so I'll ask you pretty quickly, my dude. What have you been playing, Josh?
Oh, we can actually go through this pretty quickly, because I only finished Rise of the Tomb Raider, and I know you guys have already talked about it.
Well, we're going to post that kind of soonish, but what do you think? Because this is something I know we all have played and we all enjoyed.
I loved it, man. I just hope that
I should say we all enjoyed. Now you just admitted it, so
we
got you.
Oh, hey, spoiler alert. No, I really liked it. I liked how they put like the side quest, kind of like the tombs and stuff, the optional stuff, as you're going through the game and kind of do it. I wasn't a huge fan of how like you had to advance like your weapons and stuff to do some of the tombs, because I'm not one of those.
How so?
Like you early on in the game, you encounter a tomb where you need the rope thing to pull it open.
Oh, yeah. I like those though, because
it's like Metroid.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not so hard to come back to places in that game, and I like the progressive things where it's like, because it made that game pace a little better for me. I mean, because I think the pacing is great, but I do have, with certain games, I'm not a completionist with everything I play, but definitely with those Tomb Raider games, I 100%ed them, like totally. And I'm glad that the way I played it, I was able to magically open doors and have people come inside. But I was able to. Should we take a break?
Oh yeah, we can take a quick pause.
Okay.
Hey, so we kind of took a real quick breaky poo, but what did you think about the story, Josh?
So what I was actually going to finish saying really fast is that I like that they block you off from certain areas of the game because it keeps you from getting too burnt out on anything. So the Soviet installation, which is where that takes place, where you can't do this tomb until you get this certain ability, which you get pretty early in the game.
Yeah, you do.
But I have a pattern for those games where I do every area as much as I can the first time I'm there. And that way, when I come back, I don't have to do a million things, but at the same time, I don't have to sink a ton of time into an area my first way through, because the story is pretty compelling to move forward through. So I think it helps with pacing, and just gives you things to like look forward to, like, oh yeah, I got to go do this. I think it would be more annoying if they didn't tell you, like, have like a checklist for you, like you have, like, if you just had to remember that this tomb was here or something, like,
right.
But since they say, oh, you haven't done this tomb, but you discovered this tomb, but it's not complete, so like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing with me, like either I won't remember to like look at the checklist or like go back to it later on, or the map, or by the time I'm done with the game, like I just kind of want to stop playing to let it sink in, and then I just won't go back to it. And I do want to go back and play the expansions because I think it's worth it.
Baba Yaga.
I really love the story too. I love the confliction in her character between like helping these people and trying to figure out like what her father was going after. I'm curious, like I really want to know where they're going with Trinity, because it sounds like that's going to be an overarching villain in the games moving forward.
I believe they were the overarching villain in the old Tomb Raider games as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've rebooted everything about Tomb Raider.
Because I know they have, there's rumors of like Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that's
coming out.
Hopefully this
What is
year.
that? Oh, that's what they're calling the next game?
Yeah. Somebody saw it on like a metro or bus or something like that in Canada.
I don't want it to be one of those franchises that keeps moving. It doesn't really go anywhere. Like, I don't want them just to be spitting games out for the sake of spitting these games out.
I mean, they really haven't so far, at least. They've done, I mean, it's been a handful of years between Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider, and this will be even longer of a time between Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the prospect of going to Mexico, because that's what the ending of the game hints at.
Yeah.
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
I think, whatever they do, as long as they follow this formula and improve on it, I think it's going to be excellent.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to add about it?
That's all I've had time to play, man.
Okay.
I do want to go play the expansions. I want to hear, your guys' thoughts, but like you guys have discussed this, so I don't want to beat a dead horse or anything.
You will post that and you can check it out.
I'll just say really quickly, if you bought the edition that gives you them, just play them. They're super short.
Oh yeah, the Baba Yaga.
And they're definitely worth it.
Are they story based, or are they just like
ones? So Baba Yaga is like a story mission within the game. It takes place inside the main game.
Okay.
But it's mostly action. It's not too long. It's got a exploring, discovery, documents, things like that.
Okay.
And then it's kind of like a fun sort of.
It's like 2 hours.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
And then Croft Manor. It's probably another hour and a half, maybe 2 if you're going to do 100%, which I did. And it's all story.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So, yeah.
One of them's accessed through just playing the game, the Baba Yaga. The other one's accessed through the main menu.
Okay.
So
I'll definitely check them out.
Yeah, I think they're great. I'll real quick say what I've been playing. It's not a ton of stuff. I did beat Watchdogs 2.
You're the moderator, so you're going to have to ask yourself what you've been playing first.
What have I been playing? Because I'm everybody ever. Now, I'm telling you guys what I'm playing now.
Where'd Brian go?
I finished Watch Dogs 2. I think I probably talked about that when we started this podcast, because that's the last time I played it was in like January or February of 2017.
Thinking of Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, that's the only game I played. No, it was great. It was fun. I have to say, like, the story was interesting, but like the character dialogue was horrendous. I mean, I don't play Ubisoft games for their story, really, so that wasn't a really big draw for me. It was hard going back to after finishing Assassin's Creed, because they've made a lot of progresses. They've made a lot of progress in their open world stuff. So there's not really much to touch on. It's it's a satire of like Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and how social media and stuff, how they're trying to control us and market to us. And there's like a young punk group that is like, we're against you. But yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed the game, but I wouldn't maybe suggest it now, because their third one's going to come out this year, probably.
Do you think, just because you mentioned after playing Assassin's Creed Origins that Watch Dogs 2 was hard to go back to?
Yeah.
Do you think that like failing replayability in legacy games is due to graphics, or the nature of open world games. Because when I think about a game like Super Mario World on Super Nintendo, it's amazingly fun still.
Yeah, no,
and
for sure.
it's not because, and it doesn't matter that it has a different style of graphics. Even Mario 64, which has terrible graphics because
still amazing play.
Yeah, because obviously pixel graphics look a lot better, aged a lot better than like early PlayStation and Nintendo 64 graphics. But it's still a ton of fun. It's like fun to play. It feels great. It's still like a great game.
Yeah.
But when I think of a game like when it sounds like what you're talking about with Assassin's Creed Origins, which is basically a perfected formula of this open world style game that Ubisoft has been toying around with for a long time.
Yeah.
Does that obliterate the desire to go back and play them? Because with RPGs, like I'll go back and play old Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
These are old turn-based games or whatever. Like they still hold up in their own way. So I wonder if it's unique to either open world games or just games that have to rely on heavy graphics.
I don't think it's unique to open world games, but I think it's unique to, maybe not even unique.
I guess it would be unique it would be the same. Sports games probably start from this.
It's like an Ubisoft problem where like they release a new game that does this exact same thing, but normally better than their previous entry does. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to go back after you've played their next one where it's like, oh, they fixed this because this was annoying in this last one, and this took a while to do. It would be like if Nintendo, instead of making really, really well-made games, they just kept iterating on their games over and over again, and next year Breath of the Wild 2 came out, and all the problems you had with Breath of the Wild were fixed in Breath of the Wild 2, and like there's still like kind of the story's not really a big deal. So it's like, would I really want to go back and play Breath of the Wild when Breath of the Wild 2 is like a very similar game, but does every single thing that I like better?
There's definitely a couple, not really, but there's a few just kind of like frame rate improvements in Majora's Mask, but it's such a different game.
Oh yeah, the Nintendo never does like the base iterations. Like they'll iterate,
because even if like Square made a Final Fantasy 16 that was the same basic battle concept as Final Fantasy 15, that would never negate my desire to maybe replay 15 because it's a world I want to go back to. It's characters I want to go back to.
I think with Ubisoft games, like they have so much stuff to do and the maps are always so big that by the time you reach some level of completion, you are so burnt out on it that you don't want to go back.
But it's not just like a lot of that trend has been a lot of games over that's been the kind of the big game ever since Witcher 3 came out.
Right.
You know, that's the model that people are going after because
the huge open worlds.
The huge open world. Ubisoft has been doing it long before Witcher 3 came out, but Witcher 3 put it on such the map that now everything, we saw Horizon Zero Dawn, which has like really like a lot of the critics loved, but then a lot of the people that criticized it had really valid points.
Yeah, it's funny that like critics loved it. I heard somebody say that not a single side quest is unimportant in Horizon, but in my opinion, from the side quests I played, a lot of them felt very unimportant. Whereas like, people always say about games they love, like the side quests are all very important, but very few games, I would say Witcher 3 probably did the best, but even it probably had some unimportant side quests I don't remember. But very few games can make perfect, like, every side quest is important and ties. Maybe Pillars of Eternity, because they had so few.
I was about to say Pillars of Eternity and Torment, because Torment, the game is told in side quests, essentially,
But very few games, unless that's their means of, like, telling the story, do that. But yeah, I think for Ubisoft specifically, it has to do with they follow the sports model, where every year you get a new one, so it's better. So why would I play the previous one? Like I said, the stories aren't the draw. The only difference between, and the reason why I go back to Watchdogs 2 is because Watchdogs 2 is the present version of their game. So you're driving cars, using drones, things. So it's still fun, but it's just like the combat's better. The way you access, there's no mini map in Assassin's Creed Origins. Like everything's done on the top of the screen. But that brings me to the next thing that I wanted to just talk about real quick. Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned. It's been a while since my last confession. I have returned to Assassin's Creed Origins.
Dun, dun, dun.
I have been playing that game again so much, and I don't even know why. Like I enjoy it, but there's...
Is it the expansion?
I got the expansion, but I haven't even really touched that.
All right.
I've just been going, because the expansion wants you to be max level 40, and I stopped playing at level 37, and levels are kind of a big deal in that game. So if you're, unless you're like an expert player, like you need to upgrade your equipment and stuff. But no, sometimes I don't even know why I play, because like the side quests don't interest me very much. I'm sure they're good, but I don't want to sit there and listen to them. But I think it's just like just running around the world is so much fun.
Sure.
Like kind of what I found in Breath of the Wild, where I just wanted to be in that world. Like, I guess ancient Egypt, one thing I never thought I'd expect, is like a place I really, really enjoy running around.
Yeah, I think if there hadn't been so many games in the Middle East, they kind of do that, like the old Assassin's Creed,
Or Prince of Persia.
those kind of things. I think it would probably sound really interesting right away, but because when you think about it, like the ancient Middle East is a pretty fascinating place.
Oh, for sure.
So
especially ancient Egypt with all their gods and like their
You guys
mythologies.
see the trailer for Immortal Redneck?
No. Oh, the video game?
The video game.
It actually already came out on Steam 2 years ago.
Oh, did it? It's
Or
coming
maybe
out
last
on.
year.
It's coming out on Xbox One
And Switch.
which makes me just to not acknowledge that at all and continue talking about Assassin's Creed.
Well, you should. Immortal Redneck is stupid. It's a roguelike first-person shooter that's set in Egypt where you're redneck. Sorry, I just had to throw
It
that out.
reminds me
That
of
sounds
Maze,
amazing.
so I might play it.
But yeah, it's just what you said with all like kind of the ancient gods and all the interesting things there. It'd be great for an Assassin's Creed to take place in like ancient, Scandinavia or something like that, or that kind of thing.
I think as long as they give space to them, like a year to a couple year between each one, I'm okay with it continuously moving around. And
Well, I think that was what everyone wanted initially, and then they're like, well, let's just stay in Italy for a while because it's selling so well.
I am hoping people are saying that that's their plan again, to stay in Egypt because this one's doing well.
Well, they did
I am
remaster
hoping they
Rogue.
don't do that. I'm just hoping.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that would be such a bummer.
Yeah, they're remastering
Because
Rogue.
if that's the case too, then I may not even ever play this one.
Yeah, it's
because if they come out with Assassin's Creed Origins 2 Egypt Part B, and it's better than this one, like it's the same game but basically better, then I have no reason to play Assassin's Creed Origins.
That's the problem, and that's the thing. They found a character that people like, Bayek, so they want to capitalize on it. Like he's a very good, he's a character I enjoy playing as.
Yeah.
Like I could care less. I don't even remember the guy from the French guy from Unity. I don't remember what his name is. I never played Jean-Pierre. I don't know the English brothers,
Arno.
Jack and Evie or something like that, and I don't remember the ones from Black. Oh, John something. But anyways, I did play John Flag. I did play one other game that we haven't talked about yet that I might even review. I don't know. I really enjoy it. Celeste. Do you guys know about Celeste?
Oh, that's the terrible game you hate, right?
Yeah, it's a terrible. I hate this game. Nothing else. No, it's from the guy who made Towerfall, which I never played because it was like Ouya exclusive before it came out to PS4, and then it's coming to Switch at some point. But it's a multiplayer. You have a bow and one arrow, and you try to kill everybody on screen.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Ooh, yeah. Man,
no wonder it's the best-selling console.
Best-selling console ever.
Ooh, yeah.
I remember it was the highest Kickstarter sales before everything else. But but no, it's great. It is a very simple game. It just has a jump button, a grab button, and like a dash.
And an Ouya button. And there's only 7 chapters. I'm in chapter 5 or 6. And every chapter has kind of like a different mechanic, if you will. Like this one, you go into these bubbles that keep moving. This one, you get a second jump type thing by collecting these orbs. And it's just really fun. It's just really well made. It's not like there's no RPG mechanics. There's nothing extra. So it's just the opposite of Final Fantasy 15 that just has one mechanic. Cindy.
Yeah, Cindy. Nice. It is though, like it's weird to see a game that's that kind of like pure and just like one style.
It looks great.
It's cool. It is really cool. And some of the songs on the soundtrack are really, really good. Some of them are whatever, but they're, it's pretty good overall. And even though the story's not like, I read some reviews like, oh man, the story's so amazing, blah, blah, blah. It is fun. It's cool. It's not like, the big draw. The big draw is the platforming. It's really good.
So now the character's name is Celeste?
No, she's climbing Mount Celeste, and her name's Madeline, and she meets this guy named Theo, and...
Because I know someone named Celeste, my mom's friend, so I thought maybe it's a game about
and
my mom's
I know
friend.
somebody named Celeste, Final Fantasy VI.
That's a Celeste.
Oh, so... Well, then I just ruined it.
Get your mythology
Anyways,
right.
I've got to go pay penance in the back. We're going to take a quick break.
Hey everyone, venture into the pop culture cosmos today, where you'll hear our conversations on different topics within the world of movies, TV, video games, comic books, technology, board gaming, and more. You'll also get a taste of some of our other shows within the cosmos as well. So come on and join us each week as we delve into the pop culture cosmos.
Welcome to the pop culture cosmos.
Anyways, that was our comeback song, and
That was also Brian's last episode.
I'm no longer allowed to be on the podcast. Well, since Davey's sadly not here, we got no Star Corner this week. So we'll just do the news. There's some crazy stuff.
What's in the news?
There is a game that you've been eagerly awaiting that just got announced for April on PC. Tell us about it, Donna. Old Peelers.
Oh, yeah. Pillars of Eternity 2. I was like, what the heck are you talking about?
Yeah. April release.
Yep.
Did you just assume that he knew what you were talking about?
I did.
So this was not pre-discussed.
This was not
I just kind of said, "What's up? Let's do it."
All
But
right.
tell,
I mean, I know that it's announced for April.
well, since you it wasn't Kickstarter, right? It was Figged or something.
Figged, yeah.
Okay.
It was crowdfunded.
Yeah.
But,
So,
yeah.
what have they been telling you?
Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire comes out in April. It looks great. They've made a whole bunch of changes to the overall systems and improvements, quality of life things. They've added multi-classing and subclassing as well. So that'll be really interesting. And they've released a handful of they kind of release videos to backers. I mean, they're on YouTube. They're not like private to backers or anything like that. But I just get them in my inbox. They talk about kind of the difficulties that come with adding mechanics like multi-classing and subclassing. It's like they don't want to have broken versions of that where someone can make a multi-class that basically prohibits them from being good enough to beat the game, or that's too powerful. It's that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of balancing issues that go along with that kind of stuff. You get a boat. You can sail
that's
around.
Cool. That's like your base, right? Where everybody hangs out.
You play. I don't know if that is your base. I'm sure it is, but I forget because your base. The game starts right after the first one, and you play the same character if you wish. I'm assuming, and your base from the first game is destroyed because the god that is underneath it wakes up and blows it up, basically.
Real quick, do you think we're going to get a console version of it? Because there was one for Pillars of Eternity 1 Play Edition.
I mean, I don't see why there wouldn't be. It's the fact that they've indulged in this trend. You can get Wasteland 2, you can get Torment, you can get Divinity, Original Sin, Pillars of Eternity 1. The fact that they bothered to put all these games on console makes me think that they probably will continue to do so. It's either not that hard or it's selling well.
I feel like their market is PC, so they want to get all the PC gamers on it first and then give it to Xbox players.
It's yes that their market is a PC, but part of the I think part of the impetus to support these games from players is that a lot of people that grew up playing this style of computer RPG, they're sick of games being console-fied, streamlined in ways that they don't need to be dumbed down action or like turned into like hack and slash games essentially to attract the PC market crowd. The console market crowd. So I think that part of the allure of these games is like the purity. Like we are making a computer RPG. That is what this is. This is not a game that is made for console.
I feel like we saw them do that well though with like Dragon Age Origins.
Age Origins was a. I mean, I'm sure that there are a million nerds out there that played Baldur's Gate.
If you're in the chat, respond.
Respond to me, nerds. I'm sure there's a million nerds out there that grew up playing like the old BioWare games, Baldur's Gate, etc., that thought Dragon Age Origins was trash.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's a really well-made game.
It is a well-made game, but it is also a specifically made game that it is in the spirit of computer RPGs, but made as it's made to be. I mean, it was like kind of bipolar between console and PC. It has like a different play style on PC actually. But then starting with Dragon Age 2, it's like fully moved over to like kind of like console style play. And I think that, as much as I played through that's probably Dragon Age Origins is probably one of the biggest games that I've played more than once. Because normally when a game is like reaches 100 hours, I sort of like, all right, I did that.
Yeah.
But I don't ever really go back to it. But anyway, just to continue with that, Dragon Age games are made for console or PC and console. They're made as like a hybrid. So I think they're well-made games, but they are intentionally hybridized. If that's a word. If it's not a word, I just made a new word. So you guys are all welcome.
Come at us.
You heard it here first.
But whereas these games, this PC RPG revival starting with Wasteland 2 is very intentionally like this is a PC style computer RPG, CRPG, whatever you want to call it. and it's made to be sort of like geared towards that. Tons of text, tons of side quests, tons of management, skill management, inventory management, all that kind of stuff.
Because I feel like even when the same game is released on console that is on PC, I feel like PC RPGs are almost like their own genre compared to.
They are their own genre, and that's kind of the point. So I think that the reason that they put these on console is there's probably a mild demand for it. But the thing is since these games are crowdfunded, generally speaking, they've already met their budget goals.
Right.
So it's not like, it's not like they have to. I mean, it just seems like something they can kind of do. I'm sure it's much more complicated than that because I know nothing about porting that kind of thing. But it's like they set out with a goal in mind. They surpassed it financially. And they're able to like have freedom. Like we can put it on console because we've already sold enough to make we got our money when we crowdfunded it. So it's kind of just like this is extra, maybe, I don't know. But either way, it looks great. I cannot wait to play it. So
the same day that got announced for April, Josh, another game got announced for April as well, a PS4 exclusive that I said was not going to come out this year. Tell us about it.
This is awkward because I don't know what game you're talking about.
These guys don't know Mindshare.
Sorry.
God of War.
God of War, yeah. Yes.
Sorry, I love doing
God
this.
of War 4. Did you guys see the new trailer for it?
No.
I don't remember. Maybe I did.
It looks.
I saw a picture of his beard.
It looks cool.
So it kind of
looks good.
Beardos.
They told you more about the story. So his son is unaware that
Tell you more about the nudity scenes that will obviously be in this game.
Clearly, Kratos will always have two women just in his backpack that he carries around.
His
with
son
him.
is an angsty preteen.
Yeah, So his son doesn't know that his dad is a god. So and they don't. I think the female character in there is the sister of Kratos' wife.
Okay.
And she's basically talking about how, like, hey, you need to tell him or else he's going to resent you. And so you're basically, through the whole game, I think it's like the whole game is pretty much him trying to have that awkward conversation with his son. By the way, you're actually part god. You're a Greek god. No, it looks great, though. And they're saying that they are actually going to be going forward with the franchise. They're going to be trying to go into different, like, mythologies. And I think that's really, really cool.
Interesting.
Because there's a lot out there that can be explored.
Real quick, it sounds to me like what you just said, like somebody played The Last of Us. They really liked the ending. Spoilers, The Last of Us, one of the characters doesn't tell the other character about a huge thing. And was like,
right.
Hey, let's just make that the main story premise.
Well, I feel like it's going to have a type of like Dragon Ball Z storyline where, I don't know if you guys are fans of the anime, but for other nerds out there, they have parts where like the main character's son ends up being like the most powerful being in the universe, but you don't find out till he's in a situation where he has to like save the world.
Like
and I think
Deus Ex.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen in this game. But it looks beautiful, and I like how we're, in terms of storytelling, we're going into the type of like the dynamics between people instead of like having a world in jeopardy. It's more trying to build relationships between people, because I always thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited for it. I think it's one of the few games I for sure will buy this year, but I will still probably wait on a couple reviews and see how it comes out.
Real quick,
I liked God of War 1 and 2. I didn't.
Okay, that's why I wanted to ask you guys. So I haven't.
Did you play them, Donna?
I played one
two.
of them.
One. They were the PS2 games, were 1 and 2, and then God of War 3 was the
definitely
PS3.
didn't play God of War 3.
Okay, yeah, it was. That's the one that I fell off on.
I played 1 and 2, but I was going to ask you guys, like, I do really want to play 4, but do I need to go back and play 3? Because it feels like it's a waste of time to me.
I don't think they're calling this God of War 4. I think it's called God of War. Like, I think this is going to be a total reboot. I mean, it's not even set in the same... Like, the original God of Wars were nearly isometric action slasher games, where this one looks like it's a behind-the-back Resident Evil 4 style game.
Okay. I just want to make sure there's, like...
Is it open world?
I don't think so. If it is, like, I can't imagine Sony making so many open world games. It's like that's a lot.
It's supposed to be like a really open linear game.
Yeah,
if that
I
makes
think
sense.
it's like
So that's
maybe
like
like a Rise of the
Uncharted, right?
Tomb Raider
Yeah,
style. I think it's more like Rise of the Tomb Raider, where you might have
Sure.
like open sections, but you won't have like a complete open go anywhere you want. Before we get to the big Microsoft stuff and rumors and whatnot, Is there any other thing that it's been a week and a half since we talked last.
I got something. Final Fantasy Pocket Edition was announced for February 9th.
But only the
forgot
phone
about
version,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Because I'm
The
waiting for the
one-
Switch
Is
version.
We
it
still
gonna
don't
come
even
out
know.
on
It's-
Switch?
It is.
Real? I thought it was still a
Oh.
rumor.
No, I'm pretty sure they announced
Okay.
that it was going to come out on Switch.
Yeah, I
That'd be
feel like you're
awesome.
right about that.
If they would port the regular game to Switch, that would be a dream come true.
That won't. That's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen.
I mean, it could. I think they could scale it or whatever, and then do that. Speaking of that, we talked about Royal Edition. I want to say last time
We did,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. You want to talk about Project Octopath? Because
Sure.
I'll probably bring up the Microsoft stuff.
Yeah, Project Octopath Traveler still doesn't have an official name, but they did the team released a new video today talking about things that they are going to be fixing for the main release.
It looks really good.
I don't know. I'm so curious as to how far along they are because the demo had voice acting. It had a full.
Well, the fixes seem pretty simple, like increased movement speed.
Yes, so they did a lot of quality of life improvements essentially based on feedback from people who played the demo and sent in a survey.
Did you do the survey?
I sure did.
I did, yeah. I wanted the inventory. I think I mentioned
I
something
think
like that.
inventory was the main one that I like. All the complaints they brought up. Some of them were me wondering how bad people were at playing this game because I heard people they said oh we've tried to change the battle system so it's not too hard for everyone but not too easy. I was I thought the battle system was perfect. I wouldn't change a single thing about it. I thought it made tons of sense. I thought battles were fun. I thought it was easy to play, easy battles. I thought that there was challenging battles that I played in the demo that I probably could have either grinded to be above or just played them strategically like I did and win and feel really good about it.
Yeah.
They've added brightness options. They're doing something with
text. Yeah, I know that.
They're
one.
doing something to increase the size of help text.
Yeah, I think they're going to allow you to choose text size, which is good.
That's
some
fun.
games make it really small.
And then they are the one that I wanted to hear was inventory because I remember there were certain things in that game. I hate when a game has such bad inventory management that you can sell items that are equipped to people.
Oh,
it's
that's the worst.
It's the worst thing in the world.
I don't know why a game would ever be oh, hey, I've equipped this guy, but who wants to sell it? They'll unequip it if they want to sell it.
Exactly.
I hate that.
So normally most games, it's if something is equipped, it's either unselectable or just not even on the screen. It
which
won't
is why
appear.
I prefer not on the screen.
So I really hope that they're fixing that one.
So you don't like selling your things and then exiting the menu and finding you're not wearing any clothes?
Yeah, exactly. So that was really the only complaint I had.
Did you get to play it, Josh?
No, I want to.
You should. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's just a demo. It's on Switch.
Okay.
It's free. I mean,
Yeah,
you
it's
should
great.
pick
When's
it out.
the actual game coming out?
We don't
know.
I assume this year. It
I
has to come
assume
out
this year, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
It's kind of a weird name for a game of
Project
that
Octopath
genre.
Traveler.
It's not. Well, two things on that. One, it is the same team that makes Bravely Default,
Some
which is
people
also a weird name.
say it might be
Yeah.
Bravely Third. I don't think they
I
should
don't
switch
think
it. I think they should just keep it.
There's just no way it can be a Bravely game.
That's what the Nintendo Life guys are saying. Shout out.
Oh god. What are you guys, dumb, Nintendo Life?
They're in the stream. They're watching us right now.
It's possible. They definitely capped off Bravely Second. Now, see, the way they ended Bravely Second implies a third in a very specific but very different way. Okay. So this wouldn't be it. I really don't think this would be it. This would have to be. I mean, maybe it could be like a Bravely spin-off game, but they also don't have Brave and Default, which is a huge part of Bravely Default games.
No, I understand.
So that is the whole thing behind that game is why it's named that way is because of the mechanic of storing up your Brave, defaulting and all that kind of stuff. So
some of the kind of funny guys think it might be called Final Fantasy : and then be a totally offshoot. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of barking up the wrong tree.
It could be a weird. It probably will be a weird name because it is the Bravely Default team.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably going to be something that's not too far off from Project Octopath. I mean, really.
So this is just a working title. Then.
It's a working title. Yeah.
Okay.
Traveler would be a cool. Even Octopath Traveler would be okay.
I just don't want Project Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
Take out one of those words.
Take out one of them. But yeah, because with the hints at Bravely Third basically imply almost like a dimensional detective type game. So
we didn't do this for predictions, but I just want to bring this up now. You didn't get a chance to play either Bravely games, did you, Josh?
No.
They're really awesome. But since we're seeing nonstop ports, Donna, what do you think the likelihood of the Bravely games coming to Switch is going to be?
If they had not announced Project Octopath Traveler as the game that the Bravely team is working on, I would have expected it.
You don't think that they still might do it later?
I think they could.
Because I think I don't really think you need the 2 screens.
It's definitely not a dual screen dependent game. Yeah. So with a few tweaks, it could definitely be done.
It's like a combo on one cart. Oh man, that'd be so great.
That would be pretty great. And again, I really want to see Bravely Third kind of in the way that they sort of open up this game. What they do is they close out the universe that you're in. But there's this whole, when you play Bravely Default 1, there's a lot of implications of it's like a multiverse or a parallel universe sort of game.
Okay.
So it's like you meet characters who don't remember you but are the character, but it's because they're a parallel universe version of that person that got stuck in your universe. So there's like a lot of that.
Yeah.
And basically the third game ends with the revelation that one character is basically or the second game ends with the revelation that and again, this is an old game, so spoilers, but shame on you.
The second one came out 2 years ago, so it's beyond that.
But basically ends with the implication that this one character who's in the first and second game is basically like a dimensional hopping warrior that goes to different dimensions and solves things. So that's what I think Bravely Third should be. Because it should be like Bravely Third, the Ring a Bell Chronicles or whatever. Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, Project Octopath, they're making changes to it. Hopefully the inventory changes, because that is really the only change that I really was I would really like a better inventory system. But I'm sure any change they make will be great. Hopefully it comes out this year. I'm sure it will. But yeah.
So our big main topic is about Microsoft, but since it is the end of the month, I kind of should probably just ask this right now. What were you guys what was the favorite game that you played this month? Because I'm trying to make this happen so we can at the end of the year kind of reflect. I'll just go first since I had time to think about it.
New game?
Doesn't have to be new. Just your favorite game that you played this month. I'm gonna say, since I do want to rep a new game, I will say Celeste, because I've really enjoyed what I played. I mean, otherwise I'd say Assassin's Creed, but that was my favorite game last month too. So I'll say Celeste is my favorite game of this month that I played. But it could be anything that you played this month. So at the end of the year, we can be like, oh, those are your favorite 12 games that you played.
Yeah, I mean, probably Breath of the Wild for me.
Breath of the Wild
or
for Donna.
Tomb Raider, but...
Yeah.
I was going to
Tomb Raider,
say...
I feel like you finished in December, didn't you?
Did I finish in December?
We talked about it really early in January, so...
Yeah, maybe I did finish it in December.
Maybe. Either way, it's Breath of the Wild. That makes sense. What about you?
I feel like for me it is Tomb Raider, because I underestimated that franchise. I just had no interest, and then you guys were talking about it.
Which one, though? You played both of them this month.
I did. I played both of them in a span of 2 weeks. I love them both.
Which one would you choose, just so I can put it on a paper?
The first one. I did the definitive edition. I just, you guys had talked about it. I had lost interest when I only played the first 5 minutes of it, but then I went back and I was blown away by how well the game was put together.
Yeah, it really is amazing. Now, Chad, if there's a game that you enjoyed playing this month, after we're finished with this big topic, we will read it. Okay, this is kind of the cool thing, and we're going to tie these both together. Microsoft announced they had Games Pass. We talked about that last year when that was announced. Kind of cool, $10 a month, get to rent games. They announced that every single new game that they make is going to be in there day one. What do you guys think about that? That's kind of crazy. So that means
crazy.
You can play Sea of Thieves for $10. I mean, essentially it's a rental, but you can play the game for $10.
I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think that it appeals to one type of gamer, the type of gamer that is consistently playing games. If you're the kind of gamer that plays 1 or 2 games a year,
it's not for you.
Like the big entries, it's not for you. And on the other hand, I see Microsoft thinking, hey, it's like Netflix, how you're guaranteed, whether or not these gamers are playing games on certain months, you're still guaranteed that income. And that's the only way that it really works for them.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think about that base thing before we talk about the second thing?
I think it's great. It's definitely interesting. It's interesting because it's such a good thing. And then at the same time, it wouldn't necessarily motivate me to not buy games.
Yeah, I think it's for different people. So for me, I'll probably do it for the month Sea of Thieves is out, just because I wasn't sure I was going to buy that.
Yeah.
But for $10, for sure, I'll try it out. You know what I mean? That's not a big thing. Now,
definitely.
There was a rumor this week, and this is kind of like the reason why I saved this till the end, that Microsoft is looking to acquire somebody. And the first one was that they might acquire the PUBG corporation.
Right.
The other rumor
most realistic.
Yeah, the other rumor is that they might acquire Valve, which would
crazy.
be insane. But the most likely rumor is that they're going to acquire EA for $35 billion.
That would be fantastic.
We were talking about
great.
this in the car, and I just think if you put EA with Games Pass and Microsoft owned, you finally could probably get me back on the EA hype train, like on all of their games coming out. That would be almost a big budget game every month for $10 a month.
Yeah, I hope it would be like a Office season 6 or 7, or whenever Dunder Mifflin gets sold, and bought by Saber.
Yeah.
And then they clean house from the executives, but they keep all the like lower level things.
Yeah.
So that would be great if they just cleaned out all of EA's shitty executives that constantly because that would be that could be a good thing, because Microsoft, while definitely at different points in time, like depending on what type of nerd you are, you probably think they're an evil corporation as well, and that Sony's the only good corporation.
Yeah.
But
Sony.
But Microsoft has done a lot of very gamer-friendly things
They
that
deserve a lot of respect for all the
you
goodwill.
mean they actually listen to their fans?
yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
So EA would be an interesting place, and it would fix the biggest problem that I think. The worst crime that EA has committed is the destroying of BioWare.
Yeah.
And originally, when Mass Effect 1 came out, I know that when BioWare was up for sale, it was either going to EA or Microsoft. And so now
I wish Microsoft would have got it.
This would be a very backdoor way to finally have Microsoft acquire BioWare and potentially
crazy
save it a little bit.
Yeah, well, because from what I'm understanding, all the stuff I'm reading with like Anthem and Dragon Age, like they're saying there's two trains there. They're saying either Anthem's it's just gonna be tank and be terrible, and that's gonna kill any goodwill people have towards EA or BioWare, or they're saying that Dragon Age or BioWare is like the thing that can save EA.
Right.
Yeah,
because I know EA is not doing well either.
No.
Yeah, so that's what makes this really interesting. It's potentially a $35 billion acquisition by Microsoft, which is a lot of money. But between Madden and the sports games alone, they'll get their money back probably. But do you think if they did buy EA, do you think that they would keep those games exclusive, or do what they did when they bought Mojang, the Minecraft creators, and put it on every system still and make tons of money off of doing multi-platform games?
That would be interesting, because it's hard to read. It's hard to read their overall motivations. It seems like if they really want to get more console sales out of it, then they need to keep certain exclusives. But if all they really care about is being successful, I mean, they're obviously like having Minecraft be still multi-platform is extremely smart of them, because they make tons of money off of it.
Literally today, Halo and Banjo-Kazooie skins were added to the Nintendo Switch version. So
what I can see is them doing the thing that Sony did at every E3, where they get like exclusive Call of Duty content for like the first 6 months that it comes out, and then it goes on to multi-platforms. I can see them doing something like that, but as far as like not putting a Dragon Age game out on like PlayStation or anything,
I don't see that.
I don't think that that's a great idea.
Did Dragon Age Origins come out on PlayStation 3 originally?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, we just they were all gimped versions. That's why none of us ever I mean, I had a PS3, but the PS3 was harder to design for at the time.
Yeah.
But
Mass Effect wasn't. Mass Effect was exclusive.
Oh, yeah, Mass Effect was. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's because, Microsoft used to kind of have exclusive rights. They had Jade Empire. They had Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. So Jade Empire was, I think, PC, but I know Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was PC and Xbox. But what I could definitely see happen is they put all the games out on everything, but for Games Pass subscribers, you get all the EA games day one for free, and you get their EA Access stuff.
I could
together.
I could see them picking certain things to remain exclusive. Like,
yeah, I could too, but I don't think they're going to stop Madden. Like, I don't think they're going to stop.
I don't think they would ever do that. I think the same reason they wouldn't stop Madden is the same reason they wouldn't make Minecraft exclusive, because it's just a dumb decision.
So much money.
Do you think that they would attempt to reacquire the Star Wars licenses after EA's time with them runs up?
I mean, isn't that 2022 or 2020 or something?
Yeah, but
like that?
like if you think about how long it takes to make a game, though, like it's got to be something that they're thinking about right now.
I don't know. I'm hoping that we find out if this rumor comes true by summer. Like, I don't know.
That's the interesting thing about these rumors, is because they I mean, obviously not every rumor in the games industry ends up being true. I mean, by
Well,
a long
Microsoft
shot.
was trying to buy Sega.
Right.
I mean, that never happened. That was literally a rumor. That was backdoors deals. They were supposed to buy Sega, and that never happened. And that could have been amazing.
But
Sega.
it's interesting just because, when you think about like, oh, it's rumored that this game is happening or something like that. It's like, game development takes a long time. So usually things are already moving for a couple of years before we even hear the rumor of it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing to me, it was just such a weird, good kind of. I mean, I'm hoping the rumor's true, just because Microsoft could use a lot of good rumors to come true, but especially tied in with the fact that they're doing their Games Pass. That's such like a really, really like to me. Like I have no interest in Games Pass because I own all of the games that they're offering right now. But the fact that it's day and date for like
guys, Brian owns all of the games, not just some of them.
I probably don't own all 100 plus,
actually-
but I do own probably.
I own every single game.
Their Games Pass is actually feeding off of Brian's console at home.
Okay, I do have 400 games in my Xbox One library, so it's not actually too far off that truth. So, but all I'm saying though is the ones I'm interested in: Gears of War 4, Halo 5. I own those games. So if I can try Crackdown 3, State of Decay 2, Sea of Thieves, games that like for $60, like I don't know if I want to buy any of those. You know, like I really enjoyed Crackdown, but there's just too many games pulling at my money right now.
What about Deep Rising?
Deep Rising, I'll buy all the time, all day, every day. But yeah, that's kind of the majority of the news. Anything else that kind of stuck out to you guys?
No, I don't think so.
There was news though, right? There's more news.
Sure there was.
There probably was. Like there was Shadow of the Colossus got reviewed today. That was a big thing. Everybody's loving it. It's a good game. That's surprise.
It looks great. Yeah.
It's 10 years old. Like
hey, but I do like how it took significantly less time to put out Shadow of the Colossus than it did The Last Guardian.
To be fair, Shadow of the
Also
Colossus
had
is a
HD.
remake.
Yeah.
Is a remake. It's also made by a different company.
Yeah. I just love how they had Shadow of the Colossus, Shadow of the Colossus HD, and now we're in Shadow of the Colossus again as a remake. Like
How different is this remake versus the HD?
I think the HD was like not a great, like it was just HDified. Like it
Right.
wasn't really good. This one looks like it's legit, but
It's like Mortal Kombat on Blu-ray.
Yeah, it'd be fun to play. That'd be fun to replay that game. That's a great one.
I'd like to play it. I'll probably pick it up at 20, but I'm not going to spend $40 on it. Again. Too many games.
I don't know if this counts as an announcement, but I got an email that Radiant Historia is coming out February.
Oh, really? I thought it was
instead of
June.
the end of March.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, I'm hoping those games still come to Switch. Like I know Atlas kind of does what it wants when it comes to console cycles,
Yeah.
but I really would like to play that game, and I'd like to be on
That
Switch.
is definitely one of the best RPGs from the last 10 years.
Yeah.
If any game that says like, oh, we're influenced by Chrono Trigger and these kind of things, but they always fall pretty flat. This is one game where it did not fall flat.
There is a game coming out on the Switch called The Longest 5 Minutes, and it's like an old school JRPG. Like
Yeah,
Oh,
but
I
it's only
saw
5
that.
minutes
Have you
long.
seen that?
It's 5 minutes long.
I'm assuming it's not actually, but like you do play. It kind of reminds me of an old like Chrono Trigger.
I mean,
or
they do
something.
that stuff all the time, though. I mean, did you guys ever play 30 Second Hero or whatever it is called? Like,
Oh yeah, those games
that
are
game was
fun.
Yeah, you just
Half
run-
Minute Hero.
Half
right?
Minute Hero, and you just run up the screen and try to hit everything as fast as you can to get to the end of the
Yeah,
level.
those are great.
That was a great game.
They, I saw that Eterno Blade is coming out.
Yeah.
That game is so old. That's like the oldest indie game I've ever heard of.
I can't, but I mean, they're making Eternal Blade 2, so that's why they got to put one out. Yeah, okay. So games we recommended for this month: Breath of the Wild, Celeste, and Rise of the Tomb Raider,
Oh, I
Tomb
didn't
Raider
recommend it. I just said I liked it.
HD. Those are the games that we loved, and we'd recommend that you guys play them. We will talk to you all soon.
All right. Hey, don't forget you can find us
Oh, yeah.
on iTunes,
I always forget about this
Podbean,
stuff.
Google Play, Stitcher, all the other great podcasting outlets everywhere. You can also
Email us, superbscast@gmail.com. Find us on social media. We might have an interview with the guys from Kingdom Come soon. Fingers crossed. There's a lot of cool stuff. We'll put up some new stuff pretty soon.
Peace.
That's to us people that can feel things. It hurts.